because it is a big one. That's why it sounded that way. Caught 12. Okay, well, I managed to win the Champlain Elite Series event this week by 1 ounce over Chris Johnson. It is rare that you win when Chris Johnson is at the top, but I got a little bit lucky this week, and I did. A key bait for me in practice and the first day of the tournament was a Missile Baits mini flip jig, green pumpkin. I was throwing a half, then I lost all those, then 3/8, then I lost all those. I had a Crawfather green pumpkin as the trailer, and again lost all those. Perch ripped the legs off. I caught a bunch of fish. So at the end of the week or middle of the week, I had to use a homemade jig that was it's very similar to the mini flip, but I took all of Cruz's mini flips and lost all those too. So this is what I was left with, was the half and then 3/8 ounce. It's just a homemade jig that I make. Have the Chunky D on the back of it. It's a green pumpkin jig, just standard, but that is what I caught all of my key fish off of. But I guess I won by an ounce, so every single fish was key. But that bait, I was working it through rock and grass that was mixed anywhere from 4 to maybe 8 feet of water. I was fishing high spots. During practice, I made a conscious decision to go ahead and go way down lake and fish some of the bays that I'd never fished before. I'd never even driven by them before. So I went down there and had enough bites, but really what keyed me in on it was I had a couple of fish on a walking bait, the Spro walking haint, and when I would bring the fish in, they were 3-pound smallmouth or 2.5-pound largemouth. I would see a 4 or 5 pound fish or two behind them. So it was the only place where I saw big fish and I was away from people. So very often in these tournaments, it's very hard to outfish these guys. So it's often better to try to get away. And during the tournament, that's what I did. And I ended up the first day actually taking it easy on my area because I caught 19 pounds. I thought that was going to be pretty good based on my practice. It ended up not being that good, and I ended up in 38th place. So the second day when I went down there, I really leaned on it, and I ended up with almost 23 pounds and had the biggest bag of the day, and I think tied for big fish. And that was all on a compact jig. At that point, I think I had lost all my mini flips. So because I just wanted to make the top 50, but then I jumped up into second. Oh, that's a big fish.
Then yesterday I ended up, again, hammering the spot. I had no company except maybe 1 or 2 locals that cycled in, and ended up catching another big bag yesterday of all largemouth. And then today I go down there and the largemouth were not biting. It looked like fishing was obviously from the bags today generally tougher today across the board for everybody, smallmouth and largemouth. But so I went down there today. I caught one largemouth that was about 3 pounds that I didn't end up using, and I had to scramble around and catch some smallmouth off of the areas. And then also I went to a new area that I hadn't fished since practice, and I did catch 2 key fish there, and that was on a drop shot with the Missile Baits bomb shot in goby bite, which is a lot of times what I use up here. So that's kind of how it turned out, and I managed to win by 1 ounce. The weights up here are always incredibly tight. I had a dead fish the first day, 4 ounces, and it almost cost me, but fortunately brought home the W.